Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we have the pleasure of watching Casa 1 playing in their Cheeto SP. This is the tier 7 Japanese tank destroyer, and it's possibly one of the best tank destroyers in the game tier for tier that's available inside a tech tree. And trust me, this game is also going to be one of the best tier for tier that you've probably ever seen in World of Tanks. Casa is going to have an impossible situation, and you're just going to have to sit back, relax, and see if they're going to be able to take this one down. So firstly, let's talk about the Cheeto SP. This tier 7 Japanese tank destroyer, as I said, is just absolutely crazy good. Now, why is that? Because there's practically nothing that sucks about this tank. It's got great damage per minute, it's got pretty good alpha damage for its tier at 320. It even gets high explosive rounds with 60mm of pen with 420 alpha damage, which is very useful against your glass cannon tanks, or if you're just pushed to do a reasonable amount of damage to a tank that you couldn't pen otherwise with your gold. But the gold rounds on this vehicle at 244mm base at the start are really decent. That's not bad penetration for tier 7. Practically no tier 7 tank destroyers have amazing penetration. You think about something like the Su-122, the Soviet tier 7. That vehicle has about 250 on its heat if it's using the stock 150mm. And its premium rounds are actually really lacking on that tank at 217, unless I'm mistaken, on the 122 that gets some of the best damage per minute in the game. So in addition to this, the Cheeto still gets 7 degrees of gun depression. It gets really good aim time at 2 seconds, pretty good gun handling with 0.08 when it turns the turret, and also decent accuracy at 0.34. So there's just nothing that sucks about this vehicle, and if it didn't have any armor, it would still be a pretty good tank, a bit like a Jagdpanther. But what really differentiates this vehicle from something like a Jagdpanther is the amount of armor that it does have. It has 250mm of armor at the front. It's kind of better than a Ferdinand at a lower tier. And while it does have an issue with the weak point on top, and the lower plate isn't exactly amazing on this vehicle, and the side armor isn't great, as long as you've got thick frontal armor which allows you to be able to brawl and just deal with your opponents in that way, it's something that you can use, especially in a matchup like this against only tier 6 and tier 7 tanks, to really be more of a super heavy tank destroyer, just with all of the strengths of the more glass cannon kind of tank destroyers. So Casa has decided to take a really interesting, but also, in my opinion, great set of equipment here with the gun rammer bond vents. Wow, I mean, Casa really obviously loves this vehicle. And after this game today, they're probably going to love it even a little bit more. And in addition to this, they've put what looks like a level 2 experimental turbo on this tank. Now that experimental turbo is going to provide most of the benefits of the regular turbo, considering that tank destroyers can't get mobility slots, but it's also going to provide some gun handling performance as well. So as you can see, Casa doesn't even really have to aim as much as, well, they don't have to aim as much as they would do. But to try and say kind of like the 5 or 6% reduced dispersion is going to turn this thing more into a medium tank, I think that might be stretching it a little bit. So Casa set up immediately in the northeast part of the map and realized that you can't really sit there against 2 self-propelled guns on the enemy team. Then went back to base to try and stop the KV-3 and the T-34-85 venturing in to try and take out their artillery. And now, as you would expect, having given up the north and the northeastern flank, is now going to have to reinforce it against the inevitable onslaught of enemies that are going to be progressing along the A and B line of this map towards their base. So Casa gets an unfortunate miss there on the SP-1C. For someone who seems to like this tank so much with their equipment choices, I'm surprised they don't have intuition on this vehicle. HE would have been really nice there into the side of the SP-1C, would have been able to destroy them in a couple of shots, some of the time at least. However, Casa is going to be venturing up the slope against the SP-1C. Doesn't want to leave a tank on the high ground here and become a bit of an Anakin in the scenario. And easy does it into the side of the tier 7 German light tank. Now securing the flank, that means that Casa can turn around and deal with the T-25-2 and the Stritzwang 74. So practically 2 medium tanks pushing through there with how flexible the T-25-2 is. And the T-25-2 seems to think that somebody might be sitting in the B1 area, which is a very valid tactic with all the bushes that are there now. But it's not really the possibility of a tank being on the side that the T-25-2 really thinks there is. It's kind of the Cheeto SP that's bearing down upon you with a very deadly gun that might be more of a concern. But I think it's that threat that there could be someone over in this area behind the bushes that's actually stopping the T-25-2 from committing around the corner. And this is where, when you have 3 tanks and enough hit points and you don't push, that you get farmed by a powerful vehicle like this. Casting out to 1,820 damage blocked. The KV-2 refusing to fire by the seemingly at the Cheeto SP, probably trying to find an angle that they can actually pen. And Casa has found the angle on the KV-2 as Tim KV Hero in their KV-2 was unable to be the hero of the day. Casa now up to 4 kills, 3,700 damage, although the eagle-eyed of you might be noticing something, and that is that Casa only has 8 rounds of AP left, and after that they're going to have to dip into the high explosive rounds in this vehicle. Casa praises the Lord in the chat, I guess asking for some kind of like divine intervention in this game, as this is pretty much going to be mission impossible to get back into this round. It's now Casa, an M12 that seems to be out of position, and a setter that's down to a one-shot for most of the enemy team against a huge glut of enemy vehicles, and that's not what you want to see. An E25 on near full health when you're in these tense situations. But what is great, however, is it looks like the artillery managed to spot out the E25, allowing Casa to put in the first of many shots that they will have to connect if they want to get back into this round of World of Tanks. So, a little bit of a rushed shot there, especially for somebody who only has 6 rounds of AP left. Casa missing the Panther there, and now Casa finds themselves in a 1 versus 7 scenario, beginning Mission Impossible. So I can't quite see whether that one actually damaged the Panther or not. It looks like it didn't, so Casa now down to only 4 rounds of ammunition they're going to have to get through. Oh my word, Casa managing to finish off the Panther. Now has to turn their attention to the E25 that's progressing up the slope behind them. Casa now has 6 kills to their name. The E25 is not going to give the Cheeto SP room to breathe, and it looks like the C25 knows exactly what to do with regards to penetrating the Cheeto SP, putting 1 into the lower plate, 1 into the weak point on top, and we can see that Hungarian Iron Golem 01G puts a sad face in the chat, I guess expecting the inevitable demise of their team. Hungarian Iron Golem finishes it up with GG. I guess that's because Casa's managed to get a top gun. They've got 7 kills. But little does Hungarian Golem know that Casa has an opportunity here to probably have the game of their life. Hungarian Iron Golem still just cheering on from the sideline, saying, "Good job, Chi." And yeah, you know what? Good job, Chi, indeed, as Casa has managed to finish off half of the enemy team, and they're going to have to finish off an extra third of the vehicles that are still alive if they want to get through this one. However, again, because of Casa's arguably poor aim at parts at the end, but as you would expect, you know, with the amount of adrenaline that's going, Casa is now out of armor-piercing rounds, and they just fire another high-explosive round on the move. Casa, you've got 5 rounds left of 4 vehicles on the enemy team with a good amount of hit points. This is going to be mission impossible. Well, Casa puts 1 into the lower plate. It only deals 75 damage. They're stunned. They use their med kit. They're down to 170 hit points. The SU-100 on the enemy team is firing gold at them. Oh, it's over. It's over. What? The SU-100 bounces a gold round off the side of the Cheeto SP? And Casa manages to finish off 1 of this bumbling platoon, and then manages to put another round, must have been the skin of their teeth, into the side of the SU-100, now meaning that they have 2 shots of high explosive left against 2 self-propelled guns. And Casa, they're almost giving their own running commentary here. Can you believe it? That they're typing in this scenario to add tension. Obviously, it's like a one-person stream here for Hungarian Iron Golem. But then again, look, the Hellcat jumps into the fray as well, with Zahu79 saying good job to Casa. Casa knows exactly what the situation is, and they say, if I miss 1, it's over. Maybe Casa, maybe, but you're not missing that one. Great shot, good roll into the AMX 13 F3, and now all that Casa has to do is to find a Lorraine. However, that Lorraine has 340 hit points. It's a high-tier self-propelled gun, and Casa's alpha damage is 420. And so there is a chance that Casa could roll as low as 315 in this situation. Maybe the premonitions of Uncle QuickyBaby might be a little bit too much for this video. So Hungarian Iron Golem goes, yes! And Zahu in the Hellcat says King, smiley face. And you know what? Cassie, you're probably gonna have to change your name to Kaiser here. Or Kaiser even. Did I say Kaiser as in like the German for cheese? Oh my lord, all my Dutch bros are gonna be Dutch bros, German bros, Deutsche bros are gonna be in the comments down below. I digress. We need to focus on what's at hand, and that is that the enemy's self-propelled gun is going to try and make a valiant last stand in the camp circle. Casa with 11 kills to their name, nearly 6,000 damage dealt in a tier 7 vehicle, now has only one tank left and one shell remaining in their vehicle. One shall stand and one shall fall. Who is it going to be today? Now with 36 seconds left on the cap, which way is Pigino? That's a brilliant name for a self-propelled gun, by the way. Just absolutely fantastic. Which way is Pigino is going to be facing? Are they going to be facing south? Are they going to be facing north? 20 seconds left now. Casa, please don't mess this one up, otherwise it's going to turn into the most awkward ramming. Casa slows as they come around the corner on 170 hit points, expecting the artillery to be there. But now with 9 seconds, Casa, you've got to get on it, man. 7, 6. Casa connects the shot, lolls in the chat, and are we going to get any more communication from his team? No, not at all. Casa, you just wanted to add tension, not only for your own team that you were clearly putting out a performance for, but also for the glory, for when you upload this onto What Replays, and for when you go and you put Uncle Scrubby Baby's name with a QB or a QuickyBaby in the title, you know that you were destined for YouTube glory today. And boy, do you deserve it with one of the most tense games I've seen in a long time. Irrelevant of the Cheeto SP being one of the best tech tree tanks tier for tier in the game, this wasn't just the vehicle playing. This was Casa being in the right position for the right situation, at least apart from that initial attempt with the self-propelled gun exposure that takes down a whole plethora of medals here. This was the one that everybody wants, the Colabanos medal for standing alone against 5 at least, and in this case 7, a Faden's medal, a natural Faden's medal for destroying the final remaining vehicle with the final shell in their tank, a Pascucci's medal for dealing with 2 self-propelled guns, a Pool's medal for those 12 kills, a Defender medal for protecting the cap circle against the artillery, a high caliber for that over 6,000 damage dealt. Look, actually, what Casa managed to do, 6,596, meaning that they probably did hit a blind shot, and a steel wall medal for blocking nearly 3,000 damage, enough to kill this vehicle 3 times over. Casa did more damage than the rest of their team combined. This was the mother of all carries. Casa describes this game as the best game of my life, and it doesn't surprise me as to why you've invested some of the best equipment on the game on one of the best tech tree tanks. So Casa, congratulations to you on this mammoth game of World of Tanks. It had me on the edge of my seat, and thank you so much for uploading it onto the What Replays website and putting my name in the title to get my attention, to know that you wanted to be featured for some YouTube glory. And I hope all of you out there enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Friday, I'm going live all day on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby with the final drop tokens. So if you've been on Twitch and if you've been collecting those tokens, warning, they expire on Monday. So make sure you spend them this weekend before you go to bed on Sunday. Otherwise, you're going to lose them. They won't roll over. So don't miss out on that tier 6 premium tank that you've been grinding so much for. When I say you've been grinding, you've just been watching. I've been the one who's been grinding, just like I am now. So really looking forward to seeing you all live on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.